Hello, welcome to another episode of Mirus Sofa Time. Hello.
Hello.
Joined by Adon from Mimecast again.
Thanks for having me again.
So, today one of the things I wanted to have a chat about really is one of the conversations we get from clients and customers quite a bit is, but I'm a small business, they're not going to be interested in me from a cyber security perspective, whether that's phishing or impersonating or spoofing or any kind of cyber security generally, they're not interested in me. We're 50 people in Milton Keynes or wherever, they're not looking for businesses like us. And I think what part of the message we're trying to get across is that actually small businesses are absolutely under attack, because I guess it comes from the news and the press of Facebook leaking data,
of course,
or all the famous ones that we're aware of, but you never really hear of 30-person accountants or a 50-person law firm that has been either attacked or have lost money or damaged their reputation. You hear of bits and pieces, but not a lot. And I guess wanted to get your thoughts around, are small, medium-sized businesses an actual target?
Well, the kind of the first part from it is it's a bit worrying, because if the small business owners have that mindset, the attackers are going ahead and exploiting that. So they think about organizations that may have really tight security, lots of technical controls in place, or weighing it up to a easy quick win because a small business hasn't put any technical controls in because they don't matter. So it makes small businesses an easy target.
Yep.
The other part that worries me is the fact that a lot of small businesses, anyone that has roles in those companies, wear multiple hats. They're doing quite a lot of different jobs.
Yep.
They may be taking care of payments, they may be customer facing, they might take care of security, they're juggling a lot of jobs. Which means that if you were to exploit that individual, you could have the keys to multiple things, such as finances or email accounts. So ultimately, I think when it comes to small businesses, they do matter, and the attackers know typically that they have that mindset. Okay, well, the attacker's not going to worry about me, they don't care. They can quickly do a Google search, and depending on what you have out there, what your company information has, what's on your website, they could easily craft an impersonation attack and spoof your domain and request a payment sent to somewhere that looks very legitimate. Worst case scenario you could have is credential harvesting. Somehow they get a piece of software installed on your machine that tracks all your keystrokes and they know all of your passwords, or they send you a phishing email, you click on the link and you're taken to a Hotmail account which isn't legitimate, and you put in your username and password and then they have access to your emails. So there's so many things that could go wrong, and I think the best place to start is thinking about security instead of not worrying about it whatsoever, and just praying that you fly under the radar and attacker doesn't target you.
I think that I guess you think of a corporate or a large organisation generally is going to take serious security really seriously.
Of course,
and if someone's going to attack that business, it's going to be a prolonged, sustained, gradually gathering bits of information.
More targeted,
it's a 1,000-piece jigsaw that they're doing bits and pieces over time. Whereas in a more small and medium-sized company, they can throw bits and pieces out, and because there's not the same security levels and same controls in place, they only need one person probably to potentially enter their credentials onto a site, and they're in and can do more, and therefore yes, the reward may not be as much, but it was more frequent and it's easier. And at the end of the day, most people are going to target the low-hanging fruit rather than the really complicated, sophisticated win that they can maybe get from.
And I think ultimately, like, kind of based on what you've said, you don't want an SMB to be a quick win for an attacker, right? Because they feel like they don't matter in the eyes of a cyber criminal. And there's like simple things like an attacker sending out a phishing email, or just kind of like an email that has no malicious intent, but just the scope, who interacts with that email, so they know where the weaknesses are, and then exploit them properly. So that could be a simple phishing email that's sent, it's a link to a site, nothing happens, there's no malware installed on your machine, there's no ransomware, but the attacker can track whether you've clicked on that link and gone to that site. As soon as they know that, they can send you out some ransomware, an attachment, making the email look really legitimate. You open that up and then there's some damage done to your machine. So a couple of things to consider. I think a good thing to do is always start with your email security, then take a look at web, and just think about your level of cybersecurity across your organization if you haven't considered it at all.
I think a lot of the time it's just implement the basics.
Absolute basics.
Do the basics well, then you're differentiating yourself from the people that do absolutely nothing. And it's understanding the appropriate level of protection for your business.
Of course.
We're absolutely not saying that every business is under attack every second of every day, but you just don't want to make it easy.
It's better safe than sorry, really, right? And it's like kind of simple things like your PIN code for your credit card or your debit card. You don't just kind of post that everywhere. You have that level of protection. You know it's meant to be secret. It's meant to be personal. So kind of treat that in the same way as your business, your organization. Is just think about levels of sensitive information that you don't want being leaked and how you can protect that.
Cool. Thank you very much. I think
no problem at all.
As we've said, it's really important that we're not trying to push a scare story. It's about
not at all.
It's about education and doing the basics so that people do the basics properly, and therefore reduce that threat exposure that they've got. So
yeah, technology moves fast. So we just want to keep ahead of the curve, right?
Thank you for today, and
Thank you for
we'll see you
having me.
again next time for another video.